Hello, I am Amy Richardson of Richardson Professional Solutions, where we provide back office services for other small businesses, nonprofits, and family estates. And I am bringing some value to you by meeting one of our community members today. This is Miss Debbie Reeves of Lamar Outdoor Advertising, a colleague and friend, and she is going to tell you a little bit about herself and what she does.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy, for having me here. I've been with Lamar Outdoor Advertising going on about 14 years now, and I'm local to the area, and I provide marketing solutions for local businesses that involve billboard advertising.
Right. So tell us a little bit about why you would want to involve billboard advertising in your overall marketing plan.
Well, I think the biggest reason is that you need a mixture of different mediums to bring your message to potential customers. And outdoor is somewhat unfortunately the only remaining true mass medium. So it will give you the ability to reach a large percentage of the people that you want to reach very frequently. So it boosts everything else that you're doing. It complements well whatever other forms of advertising that are necessary.
So I know in conversations between you and I, we've talked about how current consumers have cut the cord and they're streaming all of their content and having the ability to skip ads, but billboards is a form of media that you can't really skip. So do you have any statistics handy that you might be able to share about what that's like? Maybe a return on investment or anything like that?
Well, the return on investment with outdoor is a very good one, and it has to do with the fact that it is a mass medium and that it reaches so many people. And like you talked about, in an age where there's so much fragmentation of other traditional mediums, billboards haven't experienced that, which is why it's actually growing in usage by not only local advertisers, but national ones. Our top 3 advertisers nationally are the top tech companies because they realize that billboards will allow them to deliver their products and services to the largest audience possible. So the return is great. I would say lowest cost per thousand out of most major media forms. So it's very affordable for reaching that large audience.
Right. So speaking of that large audience and being able to pull analytics and things like that, when we've worked together on billboards, it's very interesting the types of analytics and demographic information that your team has access to. Can you just touch on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, it used to be back in the day that all we could give was a traffic count. And the logical question from advertisers was, well, who are those people and how many of them are actually seeing my ad? And probably over the last 10 to 15 years, things changed in our medium. And now it's not a traffic count that we have access to, but weekly impression numbers, which is actual eyes on your advertisement. And there's a number of factors that go into getting those numbers. We still do pull DOT information for traffic counts, but we also have visibility surveys that were done by a third-party entity that through calculations I don't pretend to understand, they were able to put people in simulators and factor in all kinds of different variables to see of the people that are passing, how many and what percentage are actually seeing the board. Like how high is it, how far off the road, right or left-hand read, how fast you're traveling. And then the third component that goes into the numbers that we have is the census and mobile trip data information. And that's where it gets really interesting because you can, as a business owner, talk and find out what your target demographic is, and we're able to plug that into the system and then pull the top panels in the market that will reach that demographic. So, for example, if you wanted to reach women between the ages of 18 and 40, we can plug that in and tell you which boards are more apt to reach those people. So it's not really throwing a dart on a dartboard anymore and hoping that you're going to reach your audience. It's very targeted.
Right. And I feel like that would be very important information to have, especially in our area being a commuter community. So are you able to make that all work together with knowing maybe the high-end neighborhoods that are commuting downtown to the medical district and things of that nature?
Right. There's still no good replacement for having local people that understand the market, which is why Lamar's the largest billboard company in the United States. But our plants are scattered all over the U.S. and are allowed to operate somewhat autonomously because the Augusta market, for example, is very different than Atlanta or Myrtle Beach or Savannah. So we're allowed to operate with what makes sense for our local business owners. And we can use the experience that we have in the market, knowing where people are commuting, what the top arteries are, and how they can reach a particular audience. Because it's really all about being in front of your audience wherever they live, work, and play, not just I'm trying to reach this neighborhood so I can only have a billboard in Riverwood.
Right.
The people in Riverwood don't necessarily work in Riverwood. They're going to be commuting all over town.
Right.
So we have that information.
Very interesting. So what has been your favorite project over the years?
I would say the projects that are fun for me, it's twofold. It's either the creative design process that goes into it, where we can do 3D elements and lighting and, smoke and mirrors, if you will. But that's kind of exciting to do because it generates a lot of buzz for the business owners. The other thing I think that's fun is when we get local business owners that maybe are franchise owners, and they go out and we design a project with them, and they have tremendous success. And the corporate entities that aren't based here in Augusta sometimes are surprised by the effectiveness of the campaigns. So it's kind of fun to be on that end where the local businesses or owners are proud of what they've done and what they've been able to accomplish with their medium.
Right. All right. Real quick, is there any myths about billboards that you would like to bust today?
Probably two big ones. Right. The first being that outdoor advertising is a dinosaur and everything needs to be high tech and online and that. While online digital advertising is a must for business owners now, outdoor has gained in popularity and usage nationally and locally because we're not experiencing the fragmentation that I talked about earlier, and the advertising avoidance. Unless you're driving down the street, closing your eyes, which I don't recommend, you're going to see the billboards and the signage. So it's still a very effective way to advertise. And the second myth, I would say, has to do with cost and affordability. Right. Business owners, small business owners, are often surprised at the affordability once we start talking about a campaign and designing. We can design a campaign for virtually any budget. So it is very affordable, but you have to be strategic. So, we're not about, let me just sell you a board and here's a cookie cutter package for you. We're about designing something specific to that individual based on their goals and it being effective. I would rather walk away from an advertiser that isn't able to do a campaign that makes sense for them than to just sell them a board, just to sell a board.
So, Debbie, there are other local outdoor advertising companies in our area. What would you say makes you different?
I would say experience level and our responsiveness are two big ones, meaning that whether it's an issue with operations needing to make a repair, because we have all of our own team and technicians, we can get it done within a matter of hours typically instead of days or weeks. And your account executives are also going to be very responsive to you. And I would think that the other thing that makes Lamar a little unique is that though we have a plant here in Augusta that operates, as I said, autonomously, we're part of the largest company in the U.S. So we have all the experience, research, and resources to draw on in that respect. So it makes us a little bit different.
Okay. So if someone does want to get engaged with you to start doing an outdoor advertising campaign, what kind of lead time are we looking at as far as from start to finish or supply chain issues or anything of that nature? What should they expect?
It will vary based on whether or not you're doing a digital board or a traditional vinyl board. If you're doing digital, literally we can design it and have it up within a matter of hours.
Wow.
For the traditional boards, probably 2 weeks lead time is a safe cushion. We can make it happen sooner if we need to. We can rush things, but that's probably a good estimate.
And as a consumer, I have to say that my favorite billboard campaign is not here, and I'm sorry, but it's for Buc-ee's.
Oh,
We are
yes.
a huge Buc-ee's family. We
Me too.
love Buc-ee's. And we always stop at Buc-ee's when we go down home to visit my family. And you know you're getting close at about 20 miles out because you have Buc-ee after Buc-ee after Buc-ee after Buc-ee billboard.
Yes.
Just like Disney, just like Wild Adventures, just like Universal.
South of the border.
Just inundates you with information about Buc-ee's. And you know you're going to stop when you get there. So,
Absolutely.
yep, billboards are not dead for sure. Well, thank you, Debbie, so much. I appreciate you coming on today. How can folks get in touch with you to learn more about billboards?
Probably the best way is my cell phone. Text me or call me, 706-631-9585. Debbie Reeves. Happy to help.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much.
All right.